Hi everyone, welcome to our Facebook Live today. My name's Alyssa and I'm the marketing manager here at Katoomba. And today I'm so pleased to be back with Diana Beaufort, who is a business coach at Propel Coaching and Training. Hi Diana, how are you?
Hi, nice to be here. Thanks for asking me.
Yeah, of course. We love having you here back again, which is fantastic. So today we've got Diana here because she's going to talk to us about the 4 reasons why clients tend to stop doing business with you. And these are really mainly centered all around the client experience and kind of when you're not making that exceptional. But the reason why we really want to talk about that today is because, as scary as it sounds, Christmas kind of is almost upon us, and it might sound crazy in September that we're saying, oh my God, Christmas. But I've been working in this industry for almost 6 years, and I feel as though every single year, the kind of crazy Christmas season starts earlier and earlier. Like it really, really has. It used to kind of be from mid-November, but I feel that our industry is so busy throughout the whole of November now, and it's kind of getting earlier. And so we really wanted to kind of chat about that client experience and how you can start thinking about some strategies or maybe doing some planning around how, despite the crazy busyness and kind of the pressures that will be on you during that Christmas season, how you can really make sure that you can still provide that experience because you've had the time to plan and think about how to do that. So we're going to chat away about those things today. But if you guys have any questions, as always, please put them in the comments below. And I'm sure Diana will be able to answer those for you.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. So we'll get started. So the first reason, Diana.
Well, I guess just to start off here, I guess we've all just had an experience of, well, no, actually, it's not all of us, sorry, people in Auckland, you still to come, but we've just had to book in 3 weeks of clients. So we've actually experienced a little bit of that cray-cray holiday stuff early, albeit with, social distancing. And you guys in Auckland are going to have to do that soon. And I know that Melbourne and Sydney have been locked down, and now Melbourne's got an earthquake. So it's really challenging. I just wanted to acknowledge that. Yeah, that it is really challenging. Yeah. And I guess that starting with why again is that the success of your business is going to rely solely, really, well, it's solely, there's nothing else about it, on how well that you can attract and retain your clients. So that's the number one. So I thought we'd just do a little bit of a dig into, there's basically only 4 reasons that customers or in any business at all will stop doing business with you. So why do clients leave, and what are the reasons that might be killing your client retention? So number 1 is that they no longer need what you have to offer. So that means, they may have moved location and that your location now doesn't work for them. They may stop colouring their hair. We saw a lot of that in the last lockdown, and my roots are this long now, so I'll just carry on. Or cutting their hair, guys go bald. I don't know, things happen. Maybe their budget or their circumstances might have changed. People retire. We've got a big baby boomer population happening, so people retire and things change. And then their stylists, they might leave and they'll follow their stylist because they've got a relationship with the stylist, not the salon. And they may die. I know that sounds a bit dramatic, but it happens. But I guess those reasons, there's lots more as well. But the point is here that those things are pretty much out of your control. So that client or that customer no longer wants what you have to offer. And customer win back at that point is pretty difficult. So focus on what you can control.
Absolutely.
So number 2, they're unhappy with the price. Now, I think this is one of the things that always sort of fills salon owners. I know everyone that I know goes, oh my God, I'll just cut my prices. So is discounting the way to go? Well, I think absolutely not, because it's a race to the bottom. Someone's always going to undercut you. And I think we've seen that, I've been hairdressing for a long time, and I see that the average price of a haircut is still around about $40 to $45. That's not great. So that's one of the things that people will it's a bit of a knee-jerk reaction. I'll just offer a discount. I'll just cut my prices, or I won't raise my prices forever. And then that's so pricing is really more about the value that your customers perceive and it is a perception that's a value that they feel that they receive in exchange. So they give you X and they get Y back, and is their X worth why, and think about it
Absolutely.
as we can't guess how much people value that.
Mm.
So I mean, a really good example is I wouldn't even hesitate to pay $100, say, for a moisturizer, but I could go to the supermarket and buy one for $10 or $20 or something, So I see the value in that. You can't make that decision for them.
Yeah.
So
do you recommend, like, in terms of price increases, do you recommend doing one every 12 months? Like, do you see it as a real necessity just to be really consistent with that, rather than worrying about, like, undercutting other people, or kind of what a few clients are saying?
Well, we always did like a little raise once a year just to keep it up there. And just a tip on that too, if you're going to raise your prices, don't raise them on the 1st of January. Raise them on the 1st of December, because people don't notice. They're already in spend mode. In January, they're not in spend mode. Then they've got to pay off their.
Yeah. It's so, honestly, spending or like revenue for our industry absolutely skyrockets in Q4. It is mental when you look at the stats. And I think people they just get into that spending mode, and they're like, oh, I need a gift, make sure you've got your gift packs out. They're like, I need a gift, grab that. Yeah, I want to look fabulous for this party, that party, and Christmas Day. And yeah, it's ridiculous. You can't really match it. I think the only time that the industry has gotten close in kind of the past few years, where I've looked at industry stats, is when we reopened after lockdowns last year, where the spike of revenue and services got almost as high as a Q4. So it is the time to be doing it.
It was one thing. Yeah, that's a great thing to bring up to Alicia. I noticed that yesterday. A salon in Auckland is saying that they've refined their prices while they've been, and I love that, refine.
I like that too.
While they've been in lockdown. I thought, well, what a great time to do that. You've got the space. Who's going to quibble about $5 or even $10, coming out of lockdown? They're not going to quibble about that.
No, especially at that time if it's got some pretty bad regrowth.
Yeah, they're not going to quibble, honestly. So just the thing about salon pricing is that most salons don't set their prices with any particular formula. So, I mean, I hear people that guess them based on what they think their clients can afford, or they base it down to what the salon down the road charges. But I think that you really need to think about how you price your services. So salon pricing should factor in your costs involved in running each of your services. You've got to look at things like how much product are you using, what is your wage cost. We did tiered pricing, so can a junior member of your staff do it for a little bit cheaper? How long does the service take? If you're costing out an hour and it takes an hour and a half, and you're going to be losing, what are your actual running costs? Have a look and see what your break even is. Your power, all your fixed costs. You've actually got to be a bit more business minded. And I think in our industry sometimes we forget we do things based on emotion, not on facts and data. And make sure you have a profit margin built into that, because I mean that's what we're in business for, right? We actually want a profit margin, and it would be interesting to sort of see what people think is I mean, and I don't know if you've got this data or not. It's anecdotally, I've heard that in the hairdressing industry, it's sort of around about 6 to 10% if you can get in there for a profit margin. That's probably about the average in our industry. I'm not sure. Yeah. So I was going to say, sorry, I'm just just to make sure that you've got a clear price, a service menu as well. Like, I love that fact that person who owned that salon yesterday put it out there. We're refining our service menu. We're making it really transparent. Think about what your clients are coming. We don't want to make it a secret what we're charging. And we used to do always did a pre-quote as well, always for new clients, always for colours. People like to know what they're going to be spending. They don't want a surprise. Think about when you have your shopping experience. Do you want to be surprised when you come to the counter? I mean, you'd basically walk out of a shop if there was no price tags, right?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I like that example of that Auckland salon. It's very like it's marketing your price increase almost. You can use great language to kind of make it sound not as great. So, not as horrible as we've increased our prices. It's a great idea.
Yeah, I like refine. I thought it was great.
Or just even I really like the idea of we've revamped our service menu. I love that, because of course that can come with different prices. It's like, if you've got a new skill that's come into your team with someone new and you've got a bunch of new services, you can kind of look at doing a total overhaul depending on your team as well. So I really like that idea.
Yeah, I said, what's in it for your client? You've got to get into your client's world, right? Yeah, so that's number 2. So number 3 is they are unhappy with the product. So that's in any industry. And in hair industry, our product is the cut and the color or the style or whatever. That's our product. So that's what they receive. So our clients come to us to solve a problem, right? The hair is too long, it's too dull, they've got regrowth, they've got too grey, they've got, whatever the problem is, they come to us because they want a problem solved. So the only way we can solve their problem is actually by finding out what that problem is. And the only way we can do that is by having a conversation with them, or a consultation.
Yes.
It's that word that, oh my God, I've got to do a consultation, and they might ask me if something I don't know how to do, or so I'll just get into the basin as fast as possible. So in my experience, that 80% of all client complaints or redos are caused by an ineffective consultation, that the client wasn't listened to. And I think it might even be higher than that, but you really do have to nail that consultation, and you have to listen. You can't solve anyone's problem if you don't know what it is. So I think it's either a skill gap or an attitude gap if someone's not happy with their product in our industry. So if someone's not happy with their haircut or their colour, it's a skill gap or an attitude gap. It's only one of those 2 things. So can your stylist solve the problem? Are they able to do it? Can they execute a great technical service? Can they do a great consultation and listen to the client's concerns to solve them? Like Stephen Covey said, first listen to understand. And can they build a consistent relationship of trust and rapport? Because that's what you're building, that relationship. So how do you know if it's an attitude gap? I think we'd have a huge raise of hands. I think it's a care factor. Can they do it? You can train the skill. You can train skill for anyone. Can they be bothered doing it? That's a whole other thing. It's a care factor, and it's pretty hard to train. So that's a whole other live.
Because I mean, you've got to have that passion, right? To really,
you've got to want to be able to solve the problem.
Yeah.
You've got to get into their world, and you've got to listen, and you've got to actually get into their world. Yeah,
absolutely.
So just a note here too: if the product sort of solves the problem, if they kind of get what they want, it's not quite right, or they cut their fringe a little bit too short again, or they'll stick around, but they'll stick around until something better comes along. They'll stick around until their friend gets a really nice haircut and they go, oh, where did you go? Yeah. So they will stick around, but they won't stick around for long. And that's one of the reasons why they leave.
Yeah.
So just some tips on that one, just for us salon owners out there, or just have a culture of training. So make sure that you do train, and you make sure you train in skills and in communication, because 50% of what we do is communicating with our clients. Stay current, stay ahead of the trends. Don't be doing yesterday's work. Seek out customer feedback. I know this is really scary for some people. There's like, oh my God, if I ring them up and see how their hair is, they'll tell me that they hate it. Well, actually, a customer complaint is actually a gift, I always think, and it's an opportunity. They're actually giving you the opportunity to show you something that you don't know and how to fix it. So most people will just walk. They won't come back. It's actually quite courageous to make a complaint and acknowledge them for that. Make sure that you have a complaints process that your whole team gets trained in, so they know how to do it. And record all compliments and complaints, because you need to record all compliments because people need to be acknowledged for the great work they do. And you need to record the complaints because you'll see patterns. Yeah.
And then you can fix them. Yeah.
Yep.
And it's really easy to ask for feedback as well. Like even if you set up an automated marketing message that sends out, a day after a client's appointment, and you can have a link to a form or something that you've created that asks them for feedback. You can actively ask for it, and it's automated, so you don't even have to kind of pick up the phone unless you get that horrible, you get really bad feedback. Then you can kind of call and stuff. But then it saves you so much time, but you are being able to collect that good and that bad feedback.
Yeah, and lots of industries do it all the time. People actually don't care. as long as it's not 20 questions, probably.
Yes, oh yes, just a couple is good.
Yeah. So that's number 3, and on to number 4. So
I was just going to ask you, sorry, quickly about
yes.
client consultations. Yeah, it can be quite, I get scary, I guess, to undertake them. Any kind of tips for that, or any tools, like if you had a form, just so that you kind of have an exact template to work to? Like, any tips for people out there struggling with those?
Yeah, we've got an 8-step consultation process that we follow that actually has everything. We write scripts, we role play, and I know everyone loves role play, but this is what we've done, and I've seen it with other salon owners that are doing really well. They have a consultation process that they follow. They don't just wing it. Yeah. There's no winging involved.
No,
and I know it sounds like you could be a bit of a robot because you've got a script, but it actually just gives you some ideas, like I hear the same old thing, like same again, or what are we doing today, which doesn't sound so bad on the surface, but if you walked into a hairdresser and they said, what are we doing today? It's like, oh shit, now I have to actually come up with they don't know what I want. So there's a few little key phrases that you can do and make your own, So things like, how's your hair working for you? What challenges have you had? And what and how questions open it up. So we do have a process around that.
Yeah, nice. And I guess, just having a process or a template or a script or something, eventually you're going to build up enough confidence that you won't need those kinds of tools anymore. You'll just kind of get into a really good routine and flow and be able to do it.
And it will feel natural. It will feel natural to you as well. It's just because you don't, especially I see when new stylists first come on the floor, it's a real big block for them. And they try and get to the safe place as fast as they can, which is the basin. I'll get them to the basin, and then I'll give them an amazing head massage, and everything will be fine.
Yeah.
So
but I guess, like you say, it comes back to training, right? It's just about having a real focus on it, and then getting each of your staff to be really comfortable with it.
And I think one thing there too, Alicia, is that I've noticed that when I was training my staff, as soon as they kind of got into the client's world and forgot about their own head and all their sort of things are going on, or what if they ask me this, what if I can't do it, or as soon as they got into the client's world, it became a lot more natural. So I think that's a real big thing for them. Just a thing.
Do you mean in terms of like really understanding and then kind of getting excited, like I could fix it, or I could help them, or I could?
Just actually listening to the client talk instead of listening to what's going on in their own heads.
Oh, cool, awesome, thank you.
Yeah. So the next one is they're unhappy with the way they are treated, and research puts us at about 50% of the reasons that people stop doing business with you, or clients stop doing business with you. And that feels about right to me. I can't actually just point you to that data or that research, but it feels about right to me that about 50% of clients that, because it's anecdotally, that's what you hear. So this is really common and really overlooked. And I think, something that we've got to be careful of is that when a new client comes in, we give them a longer consultation, we spend a bit more time with them. And, our long-standing loyal clients are sitting there listening to that and say, I don't get that, So I think that you neglect your long-standing loyal clients at your peril. And an exercise that we've done is actually break down, and I haven't got the figures in front of me, but you can actually break down based on how many visits per year clients spend and how many years they've been coming. You can work out what a client's worth to you, and it's thousands. It's like really, if you lose one client who's been coming to you for 10 years, it's literally you've got thousands of dollars walking out. Not to mention all the people that they've referred and who are going to follow them as well.
Yeah, so, I think it might be 7 or 8 times more expensive to get a new client than retain a current one or something. There's just so many crazy stats, and it's also easier to sell to them because they already trust you, and it's easier to easier to make them happy, etc. It's just kind of definitely focus on your current clients.
For sure, yeah. So, we want our clients to be advocates that are going to be raving about how fantastic we are. And then we don't even have to have a referral program. People are happy to refer, but I think you should reward them. If someone handed you $1,000, would you write them a note and say thanks? Just think about that. So client experience, what actually is it? I think first of all, you've got to start with who. So who is, before you start with what do you do and how you do it, how do you create an amazing client experience, you need to be knowing who your ideal client is, because it's a pretty hard job pleasing all the people all the time. So be really, really specific about who your ideal client is. And get into their world and find out so we have things like client empathy interviews where you actually interview the client, just, clients that have been coming for a long time. And also being clear about your business model, just cuts, it's probably not a business model that I would want to operate, but it's a really successful business model, but it is dependent on lots of people coming in a short time frame. So be really clear about what your business model is. And price it accordingly as well. So if you're going to design the ideal customer experience, you need to know, first of all, who your client is and what makes them want to use your business. That makes sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So how do you delight your clients? Here's some tips. So do be consistent. Don't just be fabulous on a Thursday afternoon. Because they won't refer you. They might put up with your moods or everything or your hangovers or
Yeah.
But they won't refer their friends. Don't take them for granted. Make them feel valued, because they're worth it. Like you say, 7 or 8 times more expensive to get a new client. Remember that this is their treat. This is their treat for them. It might be the place that you've been feeling the last week and your feet are sore and your back sore or whatever, but this is their treat. And just remember, it's the little things that count. It's a nice coffee. It's being recognised when you walk in the door. It's not being left waiting on the couch for too long. It's do you need to be out by a certain time? So one of the things that we did, and we did it, I probably did it about, depending on the team and where I think we needed it, maybe about at least once a year anyway, where you map your client's journey. Like you literally start from the minute they pick up the phone or the minute they look at your website or how easy it is to book online with you, So we looked at every little thing and we'd write down how many ways we could annoy them or piss them off, basically. It's actually quite a fun thing to do with your team, because it gets a bit over the top. Oh, then we could do this, and then we could do that.
It'd be a laugh.
It is. It's actually quite fun to do. And then you break it down to what actually, you could be doing that could be really annoying them, the little gnat bites, and then you reframe it to, okay, what can we do to stop that happening? Does every client need to be welcomed as soon as they walk in? Does the phone need to be answered within 3 rings? That sort of thing. But we'd map it, how long is it okay to leave someone sitting on the couch before you check in with them? I don't know, those sort of things, Yeah, so we mapped everything, even down to the payment and how easy it was for them to make that, not having a roadblock at the front desk, those sort of things like that. And just made we had a minimum standard, but which was like a minimum of 3, and some of it was systems, some of it was self. Some how can I do that?
Nice. I like that idea.
So we just sort of, and then we trained and we implemented it, and this is how we do things. I think it's really important that you've got something, and you've either your policies, procedures, a manual, or a website, or we had a Google sites where it's just everyone had that, and then when someone new comes on board, then they know how to be. They don't just leave them to themselves. Yes. And they need to know this is how we do things here.
Absolutely.
So I just another point. Too bad news travels fast. 86% of all people that have a bad experience, so that will turn them off a business. And I guess also, we all have these horror stories that we've got clients sitting in our chairs that tell us what happened to them at their last salon, and they love it, and we love it. It's like, whoa, that one never does. Well,
yeah.
Probably has. At some point, there'll be someone sitting in someone else's chair telling them what you've done, because we're not perfect, right? Just got to minimize it.
Absolutely.
So just getting into the Christmas rush, and
or
also
even coming out of lockdown rush, because that's
coming out of COVID.
Still will happen to some people.
Well, there is, going back to client experience. So I think I'm on the floor, and I've been sort of part of the post-COVID sort of thing, and the salon where I'm helping out at the moment is they split the team, so quite a big team. and they split it, and we had every second chair and the social distancing. So even though it was 7 days a week and working long hours and everything, it didn't feel like that for the clients. It didn't feel rushed. They felt safe. They felt like they weren't crammed in. They felt it was a nice experience for the client. And I know that's not always possible at Christmas time, but that's just something to be aware of. And I think things have changed. Delta's changed everything. We're wearing masks. People don't want to be crushed into a salon anymore. They really don't. It's not comfortable for them. So that's probably something new for this, I think. Yeah. But then again, every Christmas, and you said before, it starts earlier. I know for the last 3 weeks, every year, we just smashed our targets out of the ballpark. And it's like, oh my God, if only this could happen every week, we'd be like, be millionaires, But it never quite gets there. So, but we need that. We need that because we always used to close between Christmas and New Year. Everyone wants a holiday at that time of the year, so January is a bit low. So you actually need that. You need that cash flow to get through. But it's easy to forget about the client experience, and this is when you really do get into thinking about what the challenges are. So you've got tired and overworked stylists, and we've got that right now with coming back from COVID. They're generally working longer hours. Then you have this sort of, you have desperate clients calling and, oh, you have to have it done. I've got to, I've got this thing. I've been so squeezing clients in. It's just never a good idea. And then you have things like time frames. Your client runs late, so your stylist runs late, and then everything sort of goes to. So it's some of the things that your clients feeling that they've been moved too often. So they've actually been handed around from person to person. And that can be something to be aware of. I know that clients don't feel like that's great, especially when they've just settled themselves into the chair and now they're like, can you come over here because I need your chair? And it happens, So just things to be aware of. I mean, one of my girls, I thought we have, in Pukeru Bay, we have a traffic jam pretty much every night.
So I know the road.
yeah. So one of the things that often happens was that people would underestimate how long it was going to take them to get there. So they'd be like 10 minutes late, late night, and it happened quite often. But my stylists were amazing. They just came up with this themselves. They would do the consultation on the phone while the client was sitting in the car. I mean, not for a cut, but for a colour. Yeah. How's your colour feeling? Do you feel like you need anything new? Is it flat? Is it, So they would do this consultation, and by the time the client got to the salon, 9 times out of 10, their colour would be mixed. They could sit down and they could go for it. And I just actually thought it was really good, because why can't we do a consultation in the car?
Absolutely. Maximize your time.
Yeah. So some tips to get through the Christmas rush and keep everyone, not going crazy. I think as a salon owner, you need to think about your stylists and keep them fed and watered. I think you need to give them food, because sometimes they do work through lunch breaks and, things just happen. Schedule breaks, even if it's just a little 15-minute catch-up. I know some of them, they really depend on this time to make lots of money, and that's fair enough. But if they're going to fall over or get sick, it's not worth it. So schedule in some little catch-up times, and check in with them. How are they feeling? That little back room, just to check in, so they don't think they're just being money machines or, pushed out there and worked. It is a hard job.
The thing I read about recently, which I thought was quite a nice idea, was a quick pulse check, and so it doesn't take very long, but it's just to say, everyone, like in your morning meeting, if you have one, or quickly before you start, out of 10, how are you feeling today? And then at least you can just quickly gauge maybe who's having a great day, so maybe you don't need to worry about them, but maybe who's really tired and quite exhausted, and then maybe they could get a little bit of extra attention. Or you could say, make sure that you sit down and eat something today. And I really liked that. It was quite nice.
I love that. Even going out and getting lunch, that's who wants lunch. So we'll go down and buy it, and we'll bring you back lunch. I think that's great. Yeah.
And it might bring them up to, an 8 or a 9, and then, their day is way better, and they're going to perform better, and that client experience will be better. And maybe the next day they'll be a 10.
Well, even just one, even just having someone care about you, that makes a difference. Yeah. I love that. Yeah. And that brings me to my next one. Look after your teammates. Who needs help? Right before you go and go, oh my God, I'm so tired. Who's and I love this analogy, as someone told me, look around, the ducks are nice and smooth and calm on the surface and their legs are flicking underneath the surface. So whose duck feet are flicking under the surface? Who needs help, Yeah.
Totally.
And hiring support staff. I think that if you're going to hire support staff, start thinking about it minimum now, really, think about the school holidays, or who can you get in to sort of, and then train them so that your clients are not getting the water down their back or the crappy head massage, or because train them now.
Yes.
So, and I think just this is where teamwork really comes into it. Just everyone has to work like a team. Just it's got to all run smoothly. It's the only way you can, actually, is when everyone's working as a team.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm just some of the things too. Just be prepared for the day. So make sure your stylists actually do. Don't forget those daily huddles in the morning. They are really important. If the stylist can't be there, maybe just FaceTime in or something. Treat your clients. Have little cakes, treats, mini platters. That we used to do that. Another thing too, having a VIP client list is, we always rewarded our top 25 clients. But just a word of warning on this one, and I fell into this trap. Make sure that your clients know why they're a VIP well before Christmas time. We used to have what we called a platinum club, and I'd congratulate them. They get a little card, hey, congratulations for making platinum status, and of course it's based on their spend. And because I fell into a trap once where I didn't make that clear, and someone got a present and someone didn't get a present, and that so that's and then promotions. If you want to fill your book up for January, run a rebooking promotion.
Absolutely.
If you want to sell lots of hair care, then run a hair care promotion. Maybe put them together. And like you said before, make out your gift basket, so that's easy. Our girls are amazing. Our team are amazing salespeople, but they tell people to go to Kmart, or they go to here. It's like, hey, hang on a minute.
Yeah. And also gift vouchers, whether they're online or beautifully printed at your salon, sales of those really skyrocket as well, because people are looking for those last minute gifts for the difficult people. So not only you're making money, but potentially that's a new client for you that comes in if they love what you do and they come in and spend their voucher or find out where they got their product from. That's potentially a new opportunity for you.
It's a really good one, because we always did that, and I used to run a promotion. So you bought $50 and you got a $10 one free, or you bought a $100 one, you got $20. And one of my staff members said, but they're just going to buy them and just get their service for cheaper. And I was like, well, yeah, probably, if they're smart, they will. But but mostly we sold truckloads of vouchers, and a lot of them were for new clients. So that's a real good one, I think. Yeah, we sold lots of that. Yeah. So I mean, is there anything I've missed out here? So yeah.
I don't think so. You've covered so much. It's been it's been amazing. And I think honestly starting now is the best idea. I've already seen lots of beauty salons and hair salons that I follow on Instagram. I've already seen them saying you need to be booking for Christmas now. So maybe that's the other thing. Do a campaign out to your clients and scare them into thinking that they're not going to get an appointment, because they probably won't, right? And then you're not going to have those frantic clients on the 20th of December saying, I need to get in.
The best marketing thing I ever did was I told my clients they could only book 3 appointments ahead. And it was like, oh my God, it was like I was totally fully booked forever.
That's quite a good idea. So many strategies, so many ideas.
Create
thank you so much.
So just to wrap it up, I just sort of say that, so basically clients leave because they don't need your product, and that's out of your control. They leave because your product is too expensive. So make sure they see the value in it, that it's not too expensive for them, that they're getting value for their money. Your product doesn't solve their problems, so make sure you can solve their problems. And the last one is that they don't like you. So make them like you. Do whatever you can to make them like you.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing. Thank you so much, Diana. That was so informative, and so many ideas and lots of stats, I'm sure, for people to take away and really think about and start planning, whether you're kind of coming out of COVID or going into the Christmas season, to make sure that it's a really, really successful one, and that all your numbers skyrocket during Q4 like we normally see.
I hope it all works out. I feel for everyone at the moment. It's
Yeah, we are thinking of everyone. But
Take
yeah,
care.
I'm sure our industry will bounce back for sure.
I know our industry always does. We're good.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Thank
Well, thank
you.
you so much again, Diana. That was awesome. And thank you to everyone for watching. And we'll see you on our next Facebook Live. See you, everyone.
Thank you. Okay. Bye.